Welcome to Wickerson Studios. My name's Michael Wickerson, and I have recently been working on really fine-tuning my C-sharp scripting skills. And where I'm going to go and who I'm going to follow is Parametric Camp. However, I wanted to deviate with what I'm going to refer to as Wickerson Studio Jazz um, plugin. It's C-sharp scripting in Visual Studio for Grasshopper. And what I've been doing is learning how to make my own solutions, create my own scripts within their own directories, and basically do all of the tricks to get yourself up and running, even though the scripts are pretty simple to start. Now, um, what's happening in Parametric Camp, for those following the most recent work in advanced designing Grasshopper, is all of the nodes are being created through Jose Luis, NURBS, utilities, vectors, and things like that. Well, I'm doing the same, but in my own kind of way. I'm not going hard into um, actually the geometries of Rhino. I'm currently just interested in very basic scripts. I've yet to make the icons, and I don't know if I'll make them for such simple scripts, but I want to figure out how to get everything up and running and learn practically and in practice how C# works in full detail. So I've chosen the white paper of Warsaw white paper, which I went through a year ago and produced all these user objects I put on in every category I could imagine. So you can see that they're from Hello World, the basic types, all the way through to some exercises. And I scripted these all into notes that are accessible, like loops, which will be similar. None of them, a few of them might be actually worth putting into a plugin, which I'm going to refer to as Jazz, just to actually jazz up scripts and do some wonderful things with it with custom C# nodes. But when I'm done that, I'll probably go into Raya Isis C# scripts, which I generated all the scripts to as well. These were coming out of the white papers and tutorials online. However, I did have to sit and make them all. I customized a lot of them. I've made a lot of Wickerson Studio user objects in Python, which I think there'll be a few worth translating back over to C. And then if I take a look at this tail end, this was the work I did with Daniel Kristev, which was called the Dominion, and it was a conic solver. So I'm actually able to really follow what we were doing on GitHub now, thanks to the research I've done back into Parametric Camp. I think there probably were others. Definitely these tail end ones. I thought I had, there's some C# scripts. I'm not sure where they came from, curves, surfaces, and some trigonometry I was playing with before. But all of these scripts were actually built in Grasshopper using the nodes, the C# node. And I really want to steer away from that and jump very hard back into Visual Studio. I'm using Visual Studio 2019, but I'm also jumping in to Unity now and C# scripting in Unity, which I never could have done before. I was watching Unichiro Horikawa do that. And what else have I been jumping into? Well, certainly the console apps, the console C# learning that Jose Luis was doing on Parametric Camp as well is something that I'm continuing to refresh on. I don't worry about learning C# more than I learned Python because I think I could come back to Python if I had to. But this will all be supported on my GitHub. It will be supported on Patreon. It will be supported on the actual forum pages that I've set up on. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. The forum pages that I've set up on Facebook, GHPython, GHPython Remote. I do think, and C#, and there's a multitude of others, I do think this will speed up any work that I started to do in one-liners for Python. So for those that really want to follow along, and as I creep through here, I don't mind slowing down. I would like to work with a couple of people on a weekly forum for C# to answer questions for beginners that are doing this. And of course, I'd recommend the weekly work and the 100th live feed next week that's happening at Parametric Camp, because what they're doing is still extremely proficient compared to where I'm capable of going, but I am watching the current videos up to date and kind of look forward to them every week. So I hope you take an interest in this. I hope that Wickerson Studio Jazz might become something of interest to some of you. And in time, I do believe there is a custom plugin for creating artworks that I would like to try because I don't know many contemporary artists that are working in that field of using Grasshopper as their gallery. So I'm hoping that will spark interest with my students and myself, and I'll just keep going. Thanks very much for watching.